Hello, welcome to Programming for Problem Solving using C Tech Talk. My name is Chaitanya Krishna. I am from section ITA and my roll number is 21951A1219. C. C is a general purpose programming language developed in 1972 and still quite popular. C is very powerful. It has been used to develop operating systems, databases, applications, etc. Simply put, procedural programming involves writing down a list of instructions to tell the computer what it should do step by step to finish the task at hand. Key features of procedural programming. The key features of procedural programming are given below. Predefined functions. First, a predefined function is typically an instruction identified by a name. Usually, the predefined functions are built into higher level programming languages, but they are derived from the library or the registry rather than the program. One example of a predefined function is char of at brackets, which is present in X, which is searches for a character position in a string. Next, local variable. A local variable is a variable that is declared in the main structure of a method and is limited to the local scope it is given. The local variable can only be used in the method it is defined in, and if it were to be used outside the defined method, the code will cease to work. Global variable. A global variable is a variable which is declared outside every other function defined in the code. Due to this, global variables can be used in all functions, unlike a local variable. Modularity. Modularity is when two dissimilar systems have two different tasks at hand, but are grouped together to conclude a larger task first. Every group of systems then would have its own task finished one after the other until all tasks are complete. Parameter passing. Parameter passing is a mechanism used to pass parameters to functions, subroutines, or procedures. Parameter passing can be done through pass by value, pass by reference, pass by result, pass by value dash result, and through pass by the name. The task. Given n, where n is even integer, we need to determine the number of black cells in an n into n chessboard. The input format. The only line of the input contains a single integer n. Output format. Output the number of black cells in an n into n chessboard. The sample input 1 is 8. The sample output 1 is 32. The solution. Here is the solution. Hash include brackets open stdio.h and brackets close. Next line int main brackets open void brackets close, our brackets is open. Next line int of n semicolon scanf %d comma and n semicolon. Next line we have scanf quotation marks inside %d comma and n and semicolon. Next line int of m where m equals n star n in brackets divided by 2 semicolon. Printf in brackets you have quotation marks inside there is %d comma m semicolon Next line we have return 0 with semicolon and our bracket is closed. Besides, we have the flow chart for the program. It says start. Next, we have input. Then we have considered the value of m, which is n into n by 2. Next step is to print m, and then we need to end the program. As we can see here, the number of white cells is equal to number of black cells. Hence, we need to divide the total number of black cells in a chessboard by 2. We can find out the number of chessboards by squaring the squares on each side. The flowchart symbols. The terminal symbol. In the flowchart, it is represented with the help of a circle for denoting the start and stop symbol. The symbol given below is used to represent the terminal symbol, processing symbol. It is represented in a flowchart with the help of a rectangular box used to represent the arithmetic and data movement instructions. The symbol given below is used to represent the processing symbol. Input-output symbol. The input symbol is used to represent the input data, and the output symbol is used to display the output operation. The symbol given below is used for representing the input-output symbol. Explanation. The first thing you will notice is the first line of the file, the hash include stdio.h line. This particular file is composed of several standard hash defines to define some of the standard IHO operations. List of inbuilt C functions in stdio.h file. Printf. This function is used to print the character, string, float, integer, octal, and hexadecimal values onto the output screen. Scanf. This function is used to read a character, string, numeric data from keyboard. GetC brackets. It reads character from file. Gets brackets. It reads line from keyboard. GetChar bracket. It reads character from keyboard. Put bracket. It writes lines to output input screen. PutChar brackets. It writes a character to screen. Clear error brackets. This function clears the error indicators. Fopen bracket. All file handling functions are defined in stdio.h header file. Fclose closes an opened file. GetW bracket reads an integer from file. PutW bracket writes an integer to file. FgetC bracket reads a character from file. Fgets it reads string from a file one line at a time. Fputs bracket reads string to a file. Feof bracket finds end of file. Fgetchar it reads a character from keyboard. FgetC bracket reads a character from file. Fprintf bracket writes formatted data to a file. Fscanf bracket it reads formatted data from a file. Fgetchar reads a character from keyboard. Fputchar writes a character from keyboard. Fseek bracket moves file pointer position to given location. Next, in the C programming language, int main of void is a function which is a reusable block of statements in code, much like functions in algebra, that is supposed to be executed at program start and from which all of its features are activated. Int main of void is for programs that do not expect any argument from startup. Even if they're supplied, they'll just be ignored. Main, which is the name of the first function executed in your program when you run it. Strictly speaking, main is not exactly the very first thing that runs. There is some startup code you don't see that is run first to prepare a few things before it calls finally your main function. But from the point of view of your own source code, main is the first function that will be called when you run your program. Int, as it appears before the function name main, is the data type of the return value of the function. The main function should always return an int. Variables in C. A variable is a name of the memory location. It is used to store data. Its value can be changed and it can be reused many times. Rules for defining variables. A variable can have alphabets, digits, and underscore. A variable name can start with the alphabet and underscore only. It can't start with a digit. No white space is allowed within the variable name. A variable name must not be any reserved word or keyword. For example, int, float, etc. %d and %f. %d and %f are format specifiers. %d is used for integers like -3, -100, 3, 100, etc. And %f is used for float numbers like 10.6, -39.0, etc. Return 0. These status codes are just used as a convention for a long time in C language because the language does not support the objects and classes. And exceptions. Return 0. A return 0 means that the program will execute successfully and did what it was intended to do. Thank you.